Are you here to learn about roots of an equation? If yes, then you are wrong place. But if you are here to learn about root finding methods and secant method specifically, then watch this video till end. Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. In this video, we will focus on secant method. It is a method to find roots of an equation and it is an iterative method. So this is the general formula of secant method. x2 is equals to x1 minus function of x1 multiplied by x1 minus x0 upon function of x1 minus function of x0. Now as it is an iterative method, so the values of x1 and x0 will keep updating with each iteration. So now let's suppose an equation x cube minus x minus 1. Now start putting values from 0 in this equation. So if we put 0, we got minus 1. If we put 1, we still got minus 1. But when we put 2, we got 5. Now as you can see, there is a difference in the sign of 1 and 2, which is minus 1 and plus 5. So as signs are changing here, so we will take x0 and x1 as 1 and 2 respectively. So in first iteration, we will just put the values of x0 and x1 and function of x0 and function of x1, and then we will have answer of our first iteration. So now in second iteration, x0 is replaced by x1 and x1 is replaced by x2. Now we have to find the value of function of x2, which is minus 0.5787, and now just put all these values in the general formula of secant method. Then we got the answer of our second iteration, which is x3. Now how to do this thing in code, let's have a look. So starting from the bottom, we have our initial guess 1 is equals to 1.0, initial guess 2 is equals to 2.0. Then we have our root, and in this root we are calling our function secant method with 4 parameters, and at last we are printing our root. So now what's happening in this function? First argument will be our equation, second will be initial guess 1, third will be initial guess 2. So now here we have defined our main function, which is secant method. F will be our equation, x0 is our initial guess 1, x1 is our initial guess 2. Okay, tolerance is set by default, which is 1 exponent minus 6, and max iteration is set to 100. So starting with the iteration counter, which is set to 0, while iteration is less than maximum iteration, our loop will run. But the main things comes here. So what is happening here? Function of x0 is equals to f x0. So what's happening here? What is x0? x0 is our initial guess 1. What is our initial guess 1? Which it is 1.0, okay, for the first iteration. And what is f? F is our equation. What is equation? Equation is not a variable in this case, okay. Equation is a function. We are giving a function as an argument in a function, okay. So I think it's hard to understand if you are looking at this first time, but now let's suppose we are giving 1.0 here. So 1.0 in f would be equal to 1.0 in equation. What I am trying to say is this thing is equals to equation 1.0, okay. So what's happening here? When we give equation 1.0, then it will calculate this and it will return us this. So x cube minus x minus 1, okay. So if we give equation 1.0, then it will return us minus 1. And if we give our equation 2.0, which is our initial guess 2, okay, here initial guess 2 is 2.0. So f x1 is equals to function of x1, which is equation 2.0. So the minus 1 will be stored in function of x0 and positive 5 will be stored in function of x1. Now here is our condition, which is completely related to secant method, and here is our main formula. And what's happening in this formula? X1 minus x0 divided by function of x1 minus function of x0, and this whole value will be multiplied by function of x1, and then this whole value will be subtracted from x1, okay. So and what is round doing here? Round is rounding of the value by 4 decimal points. So now here we have one more condition which is completely related to secant method. In the end, we are just swapping our values for next iteration. So x0 will become x1 and x1 will become x underscore next, which would be our final answer, okay. Then we are having increment in our iteration counter, and at last we are returning x underscore next, which would be our root of an equation. So if I run this, and it is giving me 1.3247, but you can set iteration as much as you want. So if I set it 1, then I am getting 1.1667, which is answer of our first iteration. And if I put 2, then what I'm getting? I'm getting 1.25, which is answer of our second iteration. And if I put 3, then yes, we got answer of our third iteration, which is here 1.337. Okay, so I hope you got to understand something about second method. If you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yes, that's all for today. Thank you.